Hi guys, happy Sunday. So, I can't quite explain exactly what is happening to me reading the book, The Sophia Code, other than to say it's been, for me, uh, it's some kind of exactly how it's written. It's a transmission, it's a download, it is an initiation of divine feminine wisdom and healing. Um, And I've also come to recognize in dealing with trauma how important trauma really is and our change in perspective about the traumas that we've had in our life. So I realized that I was gifted with the puzzle piece gift, okay, where puzzle pieces of the deceptive manipulation game are brought to me, and all of a sudden they come together, and I see what's going on. And I was gifted with that at a time when I was experiencing a trauma event where someone that I was in love with was being harmed. And in my most recent trauma event, I realized that I could have, just like in all these other trauma events in my life, we could take on the perspective of being resentful, angry, um, hurt, uh, and bitter, and whatever those events are, and the trauma that they caused us. We can hang on to those things, or we can find the greater good in our own life. And it is up to us individually to overcome, um, by changing our perspective. How do we learn and grow? For me, this last one was like, okay, wake up, Vicky. You need to get on the ball and learn your own magic to better protect yourself from the those who are wielding harmful magic in the world. And it's been a life changer for me for the better. I have gone on this incredible healing spiritual journey. I've that's manifested out into my physical being. I've changed my diet. I've lost a lot of weight. I've just become a healthy body, mind, spirit, and it's manifested out into my home environment. So there's much greater good. But the biggest lesson that I learned out of that whole thing was another depth of unconditional love. And that was to recognize that those who are wielding that kind of magic are simply hurt people themselves. And in the Sophia Code book, it does talk about forgiveness and the importance of forgiveness. And I think I may have read that in my last video, and how that really works. We don't condone the behavior. It's freeing ourselves by forgiving the person who has done that to us. And I think as humanity, we have all experienced trauma to one degree or another. Even as children, the trauma of having our heart's desire, our true passion, our innate knowing, our calling, our gifts squashed by the system that enslaves us. And I think too that I know for myself, when I first was taken down the rabbit hole, um, there was a moment of realization. There was a couple of moments of realization when I realized every war was created by the same people and funded on both sides for their own profit, and that millions of people in these wars have been literally murdered. I literally ended up in a ball on the floor just sobbing. It's been mass murder. And that can be traumatic, especially for those who are waking up and who have had their families, you know, lives changed forever, in service of their country, recognizing that they have just been manipulated. I mean, just the waking up process and recognizing that our entire life has been nothing but a deceptive manipulation, that can be very traumatic. So there's lots of different ways that trauma can play out, but from what I'm experiencing anyway, is that through these experiences, I have learned and grown in such leaps and bounds, which I might not otherwise have had that opportunity. I do think that maybe in some way for a lot of us, that is part of the waking up process, that jolts us to such a degree that we begin to change everything in our life. I think that this whole change of perspective is is a beautiful thing. It's actually part of the beauty of the design, because it is our free will to choose how we attach these events in our lives. What is our perspective going to be of the past, and kind of a rewriting of our story. So the reason I'm showing this painting that I did right here is because the synchronicities, I told you I was, have the gift of the puzzle piece thing. Well, it is about synchronicities, and I think synchronicities are messages to all of us, and they're coming to us in many different ways. I get the puzzle pieces, some people get the numbers, other people, hear messages through songs, whatever it is that is your synchronicity deal. It is part of the waking up process to help us change our perspective. And in doing these paintings, besides a couple of things that it's done for me, is help me to change my perspective on this reality, and understanding that it's far more fluid than what we believe that it is. I've literally seen the glitches in the matrix, if you want to call it that. It's kind of like a glitch in the hologram. Looking a couple of years ago, on my 50th birthday, actually, I saw the glitch in the hologram in my shed. It literally disappeared for a minute. A piece of it, a part of it, shifted. And more recent, and I've been seeing a shift in the solid rocks, and that they're actually more malleable than we perceive them to be. And I've even noticed a shift in the walls in my house. I've seen them become more fluid. So this perspective thing is really huge, and it is about changing our perspective to out of the 3D reality and into the 5D reality through our sensory perception and our you know our mind, the way that our mind works. So besides this book being very healing and affirmative, the other things that have been happening to me when I've been reading this book is, Sophia in the book is referred to as the white dragon. I've been seeing the white dragon in the sky for a very long time. I painted this before I started reading that book. The chapter that I read yesterday is about Mother Mary, and in her transmission, one of the things that's talked about is blue rose petals falling down around her into a puddle of water. I painted this painting. I don't know if you can see it without my shadow on there. I painted this painting the day before I read that chapter. And I intended it to be actually water drops down into water puddle. But again, just like in this one, I used my breath through a straw and I just started blowing on it, and I created what looks like blue rose petals falling down into a puddle of water. So, my friends, this is an extremely magical time. And I just wanted to share what's been happening with me in reading this book. I know that we're all going through amazing experiences. Our gifts are manifesting exponentially. People are waking up exponentially. I find it all amazing, sometimes difficult, but I think that the purpose for me reading this book and the journey that I've been on and the subject that I talk about, which is love and unconditional love, and how do we define that and how do we heal each other through that. This book was brought to me in a very divine way, and I'm taking a ton of notes and redefining that. I'm kind of translating it not only in my own through my own experiences, but I think in experiences that are real world to today. And so it's my hope to be able to um, help people through this transition and heal each other through the childlike, wondrous love in our heart. This is that can never be taken from us, and we just need to remember it and manifest through it. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. I hope you're having a great day. We'll be talking again soon. Much love.